just let them roll.
I don't think it really changes the nature of the scope of the
So you're saying
project.
that we would want down there looking at.
Yeah,
Certainly most of it.
yeah, most of it really comes up under what they're already planning.
I mean, and 2.5 months is not a long time.
No.
I don't know when. You have to start sending out requests or anything like that, that's probably not gonna happen tomorrow.
No, I can't send out requests. We don't know what we're going to do.
Right, yeah, so you don't have a problem with waiting the 2.5 months, I guess is my question.
No.
Okay,
You're
so,
probably wait longer than that, right? I mean, you're gonna wait till the engineering and everything else gets involved, and you could be until next year. Or,
I'm hoping it's not in the next year, but it's going to be.
well, by the time you get everything.
It'll be more than 2.5 months. It'll be 4 or 5 months at least before
before we're ready to ask for
we. Yeah.
proposals based on Norwich's
Yeah.
information to start with, and then hiring an engineering outfit to get involved to take a look at the Norwich,
Mhm.
information and so on and so forth. And then after that, I mean, I don't think you can go out looking for heating and air conditioning proposals until you have an engineering information.
So remember that one of the outcomes is a three-dimensional computer model that
Right.
anyone can plug into.
Right,
And
right.
the data sets have been very carefully checked. So this really is kind of turnkey in many ways, that whoever steps in to do the project is going to have all of the ingredients ready.
Well, I mean, this thing, don't let's get together, I don't know how we could be this lucky.
Yeah,
At the same time, huh?
Just think these guys, put into that money.
Oh, yeah.
We just do that,
Yeah.
Stars align, if you will.
Oh, I mean, I guess, I mean, I never voted for Sanders, but besides that. Don't tell me.
Pretty straightforward.
No, I mean, I don't see how it could come together any better than what we have. So as long as we can, as long as we can keep the ball rolling on the schedule that's why I was just asking them, what a potential schedule might be, and I have no problem. It's gonna take all of this year, the rest of this year, just to get in a position to say, okay, this is what we're gonna do, what we can do.
And there's some bits and pieces that we already have. I'd already gotten quotes for replacing 2 boilers. I'd already gotten quotes for LED lighting in the gymnasium. I'd gotten a quote 2 years ago to fix the front steps, which at that time, 2 years ago, was 80 grand. So
Yeah.
it's well over 100 now.
Yeah.
But, there's bits and pieces there that now we just have to have them refreshed.
Yeah, updated and so on and so forth. And like I say, replacing 2 boilers, I'm not against that, but we have to.
Well, now that's.
We can be
that's gonna
strategic.
be-
Yeah, combine that with air conditioning.
Yeah.
I mean, this might turn out, instead of using heating oil or propane or whatever, it might be electricity. I mean, I don't know what the answer is.
So the ones you got, that's correct, the ones you got were like dual fuel, so there's not oil, there's not propane.
Yeah, right.
Same boilers we did that at City Hall. We put the new boilers in there.
Yeah.
They can burn either propane or oil.
We're talking about a lot of energy expenses here, but that should be a whole lot less compared to what we're doing right now. We
Yeah.
should be at the forefront of we've been talking about, or we should be talking about something with solar. I would.
That's on the table too. We
Well,
talked
the
about
students
that.
have been thinking about recommending a solar array
Oh,
for the
absolutely.
rooftop.
Yeah.
Here we are at the highest point in Barre.
The city already has, there's some solar projects that are put up that the city gets benefit of.
The Novus
And
project.
those projects.
Yes.
There was the one up, I think, by Boot Brothers and
Yeah.
then one up by the community. Maybe?
No,
There's.
Allen Street. There's Allen Street.
Yeah, by Booth.
Yeah, we're gonna do one up by your plan.
And then it worked out.
Yeah.
But so the city's getting benefit, you're getting the offsets from that, so how would that impact? If we do solar here, would that impact if this building's already getting?
Well, these buildings are getting a portion. It's some formula that they use. It's not always applied to the same buildings. The buildings that are on the Novus project are City Hall, Public Safety Building, and the odd BOR alumni package. So, like this time of year, we're not getting anything.
Not getting, it's
There's months in the summer where my Green Mountain power bill comes in at 0. Because we're generating more than we're using.
so the question was, can we do the solar here, if we're already getting, this building's already getting the.
That's a good question. I have to look at the notice projects and see what it says in there.
Well, it was through a special program where they only built them specifically for the cities use, they weren't built because they put them elsewhere, they're not right in on the city buildings, but they're elsewhere, but the city's getting the benefit of it.
Can they apply it somewhere else?
I don't know. it's-
Well,
it has to be for the
that's what
city,
we got to
yeah.
find out.
Because like, I have some panels, and
Yeah.
I can apply it to my other building if I have too much left over. So if I have more money, then I can say, I want to use it over there.
These, to me, these are all questions that are not going to wash over the
See,
next.
I don't think
This year.
I think-
it's not gonna be that big a deal if they'll allow us to switch, because these 3 buildings are on 1 meter. So that would just be taking that 1 meter out and allocating it to another city meter. You know, because the other 2 are big buildings too, City Hall and Public Safety. But I'm sure we can work something out.
This is what an opportunity we got. We've been talking about a lot of these projects for a long time. You know, it's 250 for the boilers, 250 for the electrical, 100 for the stuff out there. You know, we throw around some big numbers, 50 grand for a ramp, and we're still well within our range of what we potentially get here. So that's a real opportunity to do a ton of stuff.
Maybe leverage it for more money.
Yes.
I would love to see those locker rooms.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think water rooms would. be-
Well, that would all fall under it too, because right now the locker rooms really aren't ADA compliant.
Right.
You can't get in those shower.
Yeah,
You know, what's nice about this is broad, but boy, everything that we want to do can kind of go under that umbrella. Oh. Who's appointment on this? Is it you or is it Nicholas or just?
Right now it's me, me and Nicholas. But it was me and Cody Morrison, but Cody since moved on to New Hampshire. I haven't even met the new BADC director. I'll be sitting down with her at some point. Yeah, I'd be the city point person.
So as far as what this committee can do, keep moving forward in Norwich, keep discussing potential projects.
Yeah.
And then, hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait.
I mean, I think this ought to be an agenda item, but it's every month going forward, just to get an update, you know, on what you heard, rumors, or what's fact or fiction, or whatever. I don't expect to see an awful lot of movement over the next few months or whatever, but after that, you know,
The funding one is the big one for me. How we get that funding and what exactly does that detail? Something we have to discuss.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. Government is always on going on.
Right.
Let me ask a question, Jeff. If when and if we start meeting with contractors or whatever, or something like that, it's okay with you for somebody like me or anybody on this committee to go to the meeting and
Yeah,
keep my mouth shut and let listen?
well, it's gonna be hard, isn't
I
it?
know it is. No, I expect you know that, right?
No, anybody, no, you know, it'll be open. I don't close door meetings with contractors on big projects.
So we have
Nicholas would be there.
3.4, this is me being in the 3rd grade, that this is kind of all in swamp. We have 3.4 that being presented to the city of Barre from DC. Yes,
Yes,
but the city of Barre, to show their gratitude or appreciation or whatever you want to call it, got to come up with $2 million to get the 3.4 million.
no, we have to match 45% of what they give us. So the whole project,
Which is 2 million.
so the whole project will be, yeah.
So
It's less than
my first question
Less
is,
than
what's the
2 million.
possibility that the city can match that number? The 2
It's
million,
pretty good.
pretty good.
Between
Let's be
grants
pretty
and,
good here and say, from today until this list is complete, we talking like the 5-year plan from yesteryear? Or just gonna get done within the next 2 or 3?
it'll be three to 4 years, depending on where.
Because I get asked that quite a bit when I'm out trying to have sponsors continue there. Just want to make sure I'm not going slow.
This will be, once it gets going, it's gonna snowball. You know, things are just gonna fall into place.
and you're optimistic that everything will fall into place and the right pegs will go in the right hole?
I think so. I think it's a good time for it to start, you know, like the Norwich project, and there seems to be more of a positive movement, not just in City Hall, but in Barre area development, Barre partnership. I think it's a good time for this project.
About 40, 45.
45.
He did the calculation on his phone, but it's a little over $1.5 million, 45% on 3.4 million. So it's not 2 million. Yeah, if anybody's asking that, you know what I'm saying.
Plus, I'm not sure of all the details. We're throwing some numbers around here, but I don't know if we take those to the bank. I haven't read the-
That's why we have a financial director.
Yes, yes. But that's the gist of it. They're giving us much money.
I haven't had enough time keeping track of Jim's money.
I don't need to take too much time, I have a question. Thinking about getting the money, in the past, we talked about, you know, trying to fundraise, right, to do, what we're getting the money now, years ago, we were like, oh, you can get this money, the city's never going to have the money to do this. We talk about looking at big companies and sort of leveraging the fact that the high school, I mean, really it was centered around the high school basketball tournament. It's like, this is to keep the state championships. Is this, in trying to get to 1.5 million, is this a time that we go to like banks or go to National Life, some of these big corporations around here who do some specific fundraising?
Yeah.
Maybe reach out to them as well, see if there's any money out there.
I might be able to see this stuff, maybe see what we're using to get that match.
I mean, I'm talking about some of these, you know, right, get some bigger checks.
It's, well, it's pretty expensive too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you know, what would you give us?
Well, yeah.
$1, they give us two.
Yeah.
60 or whatever it is. So that's pretty sweet.
So that I cash my life for $50 or $100,000, and see, question,
Yes.
you know,
200. Okay, so great opportunity. This is pretty exciting. Any other comments that before we move on to the next item?
Has there been communication with the BPA? They know about, I mean, the BPA, one of the biggest concerns in the last couple of years was like, I think it's stay, I think it's move.
I haven't talked to the new executive director yet. She's on my list of people to call. But
Certainly pretty exciting.
gun show people know. Mixed martial art guy knows, he was all excited.
If we can get the
As
locker
long as it
rooms
pays
done,
me.
Yeah,
right, if we can get the locker rooms done, then this place is, you know, over the top in terms of having.
Yeah, I mean, that's, hopefully that goes.
The big thing's gonna be with the air conditioning, we can now have events in the summer in there. We miss out on a lot of concerts in the summer. In fact, I just had a guy ask not too long ago. And I told him, I said, right now we don't have air conditioning, but we're working on it. And he said, well, because he said he finds that there's more people interested in summer concerts than there are winter concerts. So, you know, once we get that in, I think you're gonna see this place hopping.
Exciting. Okay, let's move on to the city committee reward organization. You can kind of take the floor on that.
I haven't.
I don't know, we are lost.
Yeah. We went, we spoke, no reaction, so I don't know what's gonna happen. The pitch was, yeah, this was, I mean, I didn't get a sense, this is something they had to put out there, but there's no done deal, there's no, a lot of people spoke, you know, our pitch was that this committee, all the committees, you know, this committee's never hurting the numbers. I reminded them they increased their numbers just recently. And the timing with what's going on in Norwich and this funding, it'd be like, I can't think of what I told them, I can't think of a worse time to try to do this, especially to this committee. And there's been a lot of input and a lot of buying, there's some excitement, right? For all these years.
Yeah.
So that was our pitch, you know, I gave some background history and gave some history about the city's always asking this committee, you know, supposed to ask them up with, so I had no idea, I didn't get a sense of if they're gonna do it, what they're gonna do, how many committees they're gonna do it with.
What I got out of it was it's kind of on hold.
Yeah.
They're gonna take a month, a couple months and look at the different committees and what they do.
What you want to have is ADA.
Right.
And, you know, there's what, I think it was 5 members on the ADA committee, and I don't know if they're all show up or whatever.
Right.
Something like that. And
Very
then,
small.
yeah, and then at the same time, his thought, I think, is to reduce some of the members on this committee and put a couple 80 members in or whatever, or something like that, which, you know, I kept calling, you know, hey, we're all, you know, welcome, we all contribute, and we have a meeting every Tuesday morning, and it goes till 9:30, that's the schedule. You start adding ADA stuff to it or whatever, you know, I don't know how I'm gonna handle it, you know, so on and so forth. There, that was my push that,
Yeah, and it's, I don't think it's good that the ADA board just, we will need their input on accessibility, but it would take the meetings too long, and plus, we're just one, we're not all the facilities, with the ADA, I think it's in all the facilities, and we're just, we're not citywide, where our scope is smaller. If we went, they try and make us go citywide, these meetings would be using everybody, you know.
I mean, they're not only facilities, they're crosswalks.
Yeah, no.
The lady, you know, went through what they do or whatever.
Yeah, it's not us.
Yeah.
I think, you know, that's, we're definitely, it might be a standalone community, there's plenty for us to look at here.
Yeah.
ADA is probably the same, they have plenty to do, they do it. I think a lot of committees are, there's very few people, if any, on them.
Yeah.
And they're kind of redundant, so don't merge ones that are important, you know, get rid of ones that aren't.
Yeah.
Or that you don't have anyone attending, but don't mess with the ones that are efficient, right? So,
Yeah, oh, I couldn't attend, but I did write kind of a memo to Nicholas and the mayor. And I copied it to these two. And basically, I reiterated some of the concerns that you've spoken about at the meeting. I don't think it's a good idea to water down the mission of a committee. I think that the more clear you can be about what your responsibilities are, the easier time you have recruiting new people, support, and community buy-in. And so I said it didn't make sense to look around and identify maybe groups of people who weren't very productive. There are some committees that are merged just because nothing's ever happening. I suggested that they basically create a list of inactive committees. And when the time is right, maybe there will be the right formula to activate some of these groups that haven't done anything for 2 years, but it doesn't make sense. You know, I'm not looking at just how our committee is being looked at. It's just the overall plan to just kind of toss things together and hope for the best. It seems kind of irresponsible to me from a manager's perspective. And it makes sense to me to build up the strength of the committees that are doing good work right now, rather than try to decimate it by just throwing things together in a haphazard way. So I basically wrote that up, sent it in, and I haven't heard back. But I'm assuming that it probably, I mean, I neutralized, you know, the comments so that it sounded managerial. So.
and I understand what they're trying to do, because I think, you know, they start out committees and then they just get adding, and then some of them fell away, so you have a bunch of extra ones over there. But then get rid of them or combine the small ones with the ones that are.
So I think Barre wants to speak.
Oh, is that the hand up?
Yep.
Okay. Barre, do you have something to add?
Hi, good morning. I just want to say thank you. I'm glad to be here. What's happening is that there's a 30-day period where you can contact your city councilors or all the city councilors and let them know your thoughts. That's how the meeting got left. So they're inviting you all, or as a committee, to email or contact all of the city councilors and give them your point of view. And I think that'd be really important. And also, I heard the two gentlemen that were there, you talked about that your committee usually has 9 people. And I think that's what Nicholas was looking for, is just an odd number, excuse me. And not, it's not set in stone. So let them know how important it is keeping your membership live. And I just wanted to share that with you. Some of that, I think, got talked about after you left. Have a good day.
Thanks, Barre.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so
Another thing that was mentioned a couple of times, not necessarily this committee, is whether you're a city or town resident. And, you know, somebody said, well, we want town residents spending our money, type of thing. And, I think we need to, if it comes up, we need to be active in the fact that, I mean, we're a lot of us are town residents, and I was a city resident for 73 years or something like that, type of thing. And unless, I moved to the town because of an opportunity, or whatever.
We all have a connection with the city.
I was just gonna say.
We'll just pay taxes.
Yeah.
That's so small-minded. It's so disturbing to hear people say things like that. This is a regional resource. We do need to have people.
Well, it came up, I knew it was gonna come up, but it came up before the cemetery commission, which is a little different than us. We don't make rules, we don't spend money. We're just
Right, we
advisors,
recommend.
we're different. And I thought about talking about it, but I didn't want to, quite frankly, I chose not to, just stuck with this. But, and there's been some discussions about that previously, about how we should have and that's fine, if they don't want it, it's fine, but I look at it, business, I spend more time in the city than they do in my house in town, because I work in the city and pay taxes in the city.
I hope
I
that
12 hours a day, Monday through Friday,
Yeah.
sometimes Saturdays, I'm Barre.
Yeah.
So I hope that I had a feeling that sort of, no one really jumped on it. I understand if there's rulemaking board, that's different, because
Okay.
it's city residents. I have no problem with that, like DRB was quasi official, but we're not that, we're just advisory.
Right.
And what I was trying to hit with them too is like, I've gone through this history on DUR, I was there raising money for DUR, there's a lot of history here, and don't,
No, it's
you can make some
ridiculous.
bad decisions because, what I was saying is that everybody here, they don't hear, from town or anything, it's here. So I told them, we might have disagreements, but we don't have fights, we have good discussions. It's not like some of these other things you hear about. Okay, we're all, it's always been good discussions here. So I'm hoping that issue's gone
I
away.
think that the city is important to all of us, whether it's some of us live here, some of us have businesses here, but we're all involved.
Right.
And that's a good case.
Somebody asked me where I live, and I say Barre.
Yeah.
I don't say Barre City or Barre Town, I say Barre. That's right, I drove across the line when I moved, to my friend's house or whatever, that type of thing. And so I just wanted to mention it just because it didn't come up in our discussions, and I didn't want to bring it up either. Don't rock it over or type of thing, but if it does come up or whatever, just keep it fair and say, hey, I put my time in and I spend money in the city and et cetera, any way that you want to frame it, type of thing.
So moving forward on that, I think we should look into what Barre was saying about 30 days to kind of write something to them potentially. But that would be the only action I don't see us having to take on that. Anyone else have comments on that?
No, I agree. Maybe it's full. I mean,
It's-
having
it's-
another,
we're-
Right, John and I expressed our opinion
Right.
there. I mean, I think any other people can take the time.
Technically, we have 8 people right now. We're approved for 9. So
Yeah.
So there's a spot, the manager
We've
for
had
more
2 more
morning.
people come in, but we have 1 more available.
We can't add anybody until this gets, they're not putting anybody on the community.
As we learned that, it's a little difficult to add someone.
Just one other thought that I put into the memo that I sent, and I'll just share it. My whole background is nonprofit. So the idea of trying to figure out a way to use fewer volunteers seems really dumb. That's just, from the perspective of a nonprofit, you want to use as many community members and volunteers as you can possibly find. That's what makes your outcome stronger, right? So one of my recommendations was, if you don't have the time with the city hall assistant to provide oversight to the committees, hire a very part-time individual to be like a liaison to all the committees. Because the more people you've got marching for, basically doing good work for Barre, the better off we're going to be. I mean, this whole thing is just so it makes it feel like volunteers aren't valued to the extent that they should be. And in any nonprofit, you'd have 1 or 2 people whose sole responsibilities were to organize more people to get stuff done.
And I think Nicholas is probably trying to get at the committees that have no people on, it. There is no interest there. So deal with those.
Would you copy your letter, did you send your letter just to the manager or to the whole council?
I just did manager and the mayor.
I would say,
I'll send it to everyone.
yeah, that's what
Okay,
she was recommending, is just
okay,
every council, I mean, John and I think they saw us. All,
Okay.
we told them what we thought, or whatever, we need to send a letter out, but I would encourage anybody, like she says, can't hurt, we got 30 days to do it.
yeah.
Okay, so we move forward, we got, 45 now, so we're going okay. Next item up is the Norwich project review.
Okay, just very quickly, the week before Christmas, I mentioned this a few minutes ago, Professor Kelly arranged a meeting with senior staff at Efficiency Vermont to meet with faculty who are involved in the project and also the new assistant professor in the architecture department, whose credentials are in alternative energy and things like that. And she's really excited, Forcier is her last name. She's excited to build into the curriculum this semester that her students are going to look at all of the energy issues here at the Aud. So, and also there's potential funding opportunity through Efficiency Vermont that we can possibly apply to. So that was a good meeting. This Friday, there's going to be an orientation that's led by the 4 seniors who made their presentation, and Professor Kelly and Forcier. They're going to lead kind of like an orientation for the students from the architecture department through the Aud. So it's sort of like the passing of the baton in some ways. They're going to be working together on the next phase of the project, but they want to basically share some of the information that they've assembled this Friday morning. And then just as a reminder, this was said at the briefing that happened here, there will be several group meetings or community-wide meetings that happen over the next couple of months. And after Professor Forcier gives the assignments to her students, and they're working with the engineers and construction students, there will be proposals that need to be reviewed by us and whoever else wants to be involved in reviewing, and basically discussions saying, oh, well, here's the best aspect of this proposal. No, this other person has stronger recommendations in their proposal. Let's figure out a way to put the best of all of these proposals together for a final project proposal. So this will be a public process that kind of moves forward over the next few months. And so I'll send you emails about the schedule when it happens. And I know, Art, you're out of town, but now that we're going to learn how to use this thing, maybe both we can share written material and also have you involved like this.
Yeah.
So I think, and there was a short meeting with Senator Sanders' outreach staff, and they're very interested in tagging along on some of these meetings. And also, one of the persons who we met with is really excited about the higher ed connection with our project and the grant. So I think that this is going to maybe produce some, they'll help us look for money. This will relationships, always build more relationships. And that's just the basic, positive news for us. I think it's going to be really good. So that's where we are. And I'll have some email summaries that go out, on a regular basis.
You think Sanders' office, my brain is thinking about raising money. Sanders' office is excited, and tying in the money with Norwich would be a great opportunity for some sort of press coverage at the right time.
Yeah,
That would be, especially once we know we're spending the money.
I agree. I've been really frustrated that we haven't had quite the press coverage that I had hoped for, but yes, this will produce.
Sanders' office can help with that.
I know.
Yeah. In Norfolk, I'm just thinking in Norfolk must be even more excited about this project now. Doing this project and their plans maybe just on a shelf. Now they know that
Yeah.
plans actually is
Tangible.
Yeah, tangible, and that's not a,
So I don't think it's any coincidence that the senior project from last year also got $1 million out of Bernie, and then we got 3.5. So the credibility that both of the projects received from the connection is definitely really strong.
That's great.
Yeah, so,
I would say that Sanders camp also indicated that they'd be happy to get in front of people.
yeah.
Actually, Bernie said-
Bernie wants to come to one of the meetings according to one of these outreach persons. So this is all, we'll have to,
Photo op.
See, this is really good for the resource.
yeah, that could be used as piggyback at the time of right, piggyback on, hey, we need additional money, matching funds, can we get this, and this is what we want to do with it, that could be a great opportunity to help.
I think once this whole thing gets going, the snowball effect is going to be really immeasurable. I think there's gonna be the Rock of Ages corporations, so maybe with your stairs, there's gonna be others that wanna jump on board with what's going on, with
Yeah.
what's new up here.
I agree.
And,
So it's very exciting to have a partnership.
Is there any, I thought I heard one time that there was a possibility that this project with the Norwich students might extend into
Yes.
next year.
Yeah, so Professor Forcier in the architecture area is really excited. Now, I'm not going to know for a little while, but somebody leaned in early on and said she was trying to assess whether it could move into the fall term also.
And I think that's what John's getting at in terms of there's real resources and funds available for us, so it's a real project, so. Don't, drop the ball and say, well, it was nice to see you later. It's like,
Yeah.
next time we need this, they're actually gonna do this, so.
The scale of this project, this is the largest that they've ever
By
taken
far.
on by far.
Yeah.
And so
Oh,
this
yeah.
is really, and it's because the building is so symbolic to our community, and then of course, I mean, it's just a very good pairing. I think that this would be good. The snowball idea is definitely.
It's symbolic, the state of Vermont, I mean, the best. Exactly. You name it.
Yeah, this is good.
People come to
juicy-
the gun show or whatever, maybe the craft show. I mean,
Was the architecture, are they looking at the locker room expansion, and they're looking at?
Well, they're-
For their referee rules, and,
They're looking at, well, so you're using the word expansion. Maybe it's changing of walls, for example. Adjustment, maybe, and this is where we have to just stand up and let things happen. Maybe they're going to recommend an addition. Maybe, we will see.
But they're definitely looking at giving us a set of plans to do that program, here's what you're getting, what you're new.
I think what you're saying is that, like, for instance, on a locker rooms, there might be more than one option of what we can do.
Yes,
Expand the existing floor space, rearrange.
change the configuration of the walls. No one's taking showers anymore.
I would think not to interrupt, but
I shared with them a plan from the 80s that showed the west side of the building bumped out. It was an expansion. I think it was when my father was mayor. And
They're gonna put the fire.
they were gonna put fire, police, and
Yeah.
city hall
Yeah, in the basement,
in this one building.
yeah.
It was gonna have a 2-story addition out there. The gym itself was gonna be extended, so it would be a college-sized court. Next meeting, I'll make photocopies and show you guys what it looked like. It was,
I remember that.
for its time, it was a pretty out there plan.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It would have worked.
the issue of college, right, we're a couple feet short from the regulation,
10.
10 feet.
This would have been a bigger than college. It would have been.
We're all the same width. It's the difference in the
I think it's 1284.
Well,
294, something.
I'll actually scan and email it to you guys so you can see.
They would have added bleachers or,
One of the practical problems that they're gonna talk about too is just that we don't have enough toilets for the number of bodies that are supposed to be allowed in the room. There's some sort of mathematical formula that we have not in any way at all approached. I'm not sure, I'm not sure how to handle that, but they will be thinking about this.
And we actually have more than when it was built in 1939.
the new regulations, we're not up to code right
That's
now.
right. Everything changes.
But that's all the stuff that they will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
This is,
They
this
know,
is,
they can look up the codes, they know the codes.
yeah,
And, it's like, if we shrunk the hallway between the two sets of locker rooms. Is that okay? People, you know, in order to create more locker room space, is that okay for, you know, people getting in and out and that sort of thing? They will, you know, they can read the codes and, you know, understand them. They just can't stamp it. It says they're okay with this. We get that information and then it would have to be okay by an engineer.
We've got a lot of skills and background that will be applied to this kind of thinking, and then we have a chance to think with them and react. So this is going to be a really exciting project.
What kind of input, you've been running this, you're doing a great job. What kind of input are we giving them in terms of what we're looking to see here?
You mean the next phase?
In terms of, you know, what we want for the bathrooms, or are we just saying, have at it? You know,
Well, we're saying here are some problems,
Yeah.
but it would be, I think, a problem for us to direct it too much.
right, I agree with that. But,
Yeah.
You know, the plan's gotta be reasonable, I'm sure he's on it, but the plan would have to be reasonable. We don't have all this money, but we just might have some sort of budget. And we're like, you know, we don't want
Yeah.
to touch Mahal out there, where they're going out under D. We're not, because that would be way over our budget.
Yeah, and absolutely. I think that
some constraints here.
they've heard loudly and clearly that we have real constraints financially. And so some of what they might suggest, for example, would be a different scale projects and also different time projects. So it's like the scope, and then also, is there a 15-year plan
Right.
that goes beyond, you know, what we're doing in the first 4 years? So absolutely, we've talked very clearly about how to look at the problem, because we're not, you know, a wealthy municipal. Yeah.
What I anticipate, I mean, we're told, you know, have at it as general, but that I would assume sometime in the springtime, after the architectural students have done their thing or whatever, that we will get some scope of what they see, and hopefully more than one possibility, whether it's the locker rooms or the bathrooms or electrical or whatever it might be. And then that's when we hopefully would be able to, you know, give them some input on what we think would be nice. I mean, I know Jeff is, you know, has concerns about losing any space, you know, exhibition space or whatever, so, you know, we try to convey that to them. It might have to happen, you know, just depending on whatever, but, I mean, they look in every nook and cranny in that building, from everything that I saw so far, you know, I took it over here. Guy, one guy's a plumber, he's counting the plumbing pit down there or whatever, I didn't want to get down there. You know, I noticed I've done it all my life. So, I think we'll get good information. I'm guessing, Sue, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the springtime, that they will put something together as a possibility that they can share with us at that point. in
There
time.
will be sooner than springtime.
Pardon?
It will be sooner than springtime.
Yeah,
This really is an ongoing project over the next couple of months. There will be some meetings where there will be some preliminary, you know, discussions, and also, you know, they want to have reactions.
yeah.
That's part of what they're, you know, as professionals or pre-professionals, they want to be in a setting where they're challenged, you know, and I'm sure we'll provide it. So,
And that may be the reason that they might have to extend into next fall is for, you know, students, because if we say about this, that, or whatever, this group of students is either graduating or whatever. And so hopefully there'll be another group of students that may continue in the fall.
I mean, to get the snowball moving, the one thing I will say is that it's always good to identify a couple things that you can get early positive results that really are like, you know, they just change the way the space feels. That could be something as simple as lighting changes, you know, LED lighting. And I mean, just because all of a sudden people realize, oh, it feels more welcoming. Oh, it feels, I can see for the first time, you know, so there might be some things that are identified as do it early, do it quickly, so that the space feels like it's changing.
Excellent. Also, just, it's not the odd, but the BOR, if they're, whether continue a project or whatever, I mean, the locker rooms at the BOR, has been talked about, you know, conservative past, moving them out or whatever the answer may be, but I'm just thinking that we want to keep that one so that, hey, while you're here, we got.
Just never stops, does it?
Yeah, and it's like a night. And, you know, move out the locker rooms in the BOR, Marianne, trying to spend our money again. I would think we could consider this money that we got saved up from the banners and everything else could be applied to moving the walls out in the locker room, because I don't think it would be that expensive, but, you know, when we start going through permits and so on and so forth, you know, I know I have a lot of this, so.
Yeah, I was gonna mention the locker rooms over there too, because I now have grandsons that are playing hockey. And I heard from 2 or 3 parents about how crowded it gets in there when you're helping the kids get dressed and skates on, and then you have, you know, 12 kids on a team, and then you have 12 parents in there.
Yeah.
It's like, anyway.
It's very tight. It's kind of the same things down here, you know, these locker rooms are just, are just, oh, and those are.
That's why I just
Okay,
throwing that
let's
out
have
there as
some
far as
early
the number
success.
And again, I'm trying to spend that money that we got laying around on something to look forward.
Yeah, I mean, the first meetings, I think we came to, there's some talk about different things being done. Now that we're looking at the pie in the sky, what's happening to that? I mean, are some of those things hopefully still gonna be done?
The flip side is BOR has gotten a lot of money in the last few years. You know, we've had to put, the city's had dumps a ton of money. We had
Chiller barrel replacement,
chiller barrel, the
Roof patch.
issue.
and that was a patch. That's.
Yeah. There's a bigger question to BOR. Well, you're gonna have to address at some point. I mean, as well as its use lifespan.
I consider those things to have maintenance, you know, I don't know, whatever. Something like in my mind, extending out the locker rooms is something that is just an improvement that the money that we have might be applied to, you know, people believe that or not, so that's my opinion or whatever, so. I mean, that's why I say we shouldn't, if we can, over students or whatever, no sense talking at the auditorium if they're willing and able and so on and so forth. And again, if we get the plans, it's much easier to get money if you have a plan in your hand that says, if we do this, this is what it's gonna be, and it's gonna cost X number of dollars, and that will go look for grants or donations or.
I have filed it away.
And I thought we were looking at, I thought the roof of BOR supposed to be ready to fix, repairs.
It's past its useful life.
Yeah, and how much was that?
And we don't know if there's any rot. We had it tested from the inside. We have not had it tested from the outside.
That was the patch.
And the only way to test it from the outside is to strip that whole rubber membrane off of that thing. It's 35, 36 years old. It's done. Then once you rip it off, you're gonna put a new one on.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, well, you're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars.
There's Rod Roofing in St. Johnsbury that advertises painting something over or whatever, good for another 10 or 20 years or something. I don't know. It's any different. I just see it on
Just
TV.
paint it over and over if there's any rot on it. Makes sense.
The VR is a big subject, but just circling back, as Paul just said, we are looking at the big picture now. We were discussing some little things, painting over the walls here, put up the soundboard, stuff like that. So it's, you know, we multitasking or whatever, but we still want to keep those things rolling forward. 100%. Okay, let's move on for the staff reports.
So December went pretty well. We had a Van Tough employee appreciation party on December 15th. 400 people. Love the place. I'm gonna come back next year. And they're gonna come back and talk to me about hopefully having their sock sale here.
Ooh,
Really great.
oh, that's huge.
That is huge. It's a two-day event. Well, actually, it's
all
4 days
weekend.
because they have it 2 weekends, and Saturday, Sunday. on
People will be
2
backed
days.
up to the highway.
Which is fine. We'll take them.
Does Lenny know about this or whatever? I just thinking that Lenny's big in this sock business or
Well,
whatever.
they're, the guy, they're.
He sells that.
He sells sauce.
What?
They sell all the seconds and stuff.
I know, but Lenny in his store down there and selling darn tough socks or whatever, I would assume that he would be all over if he was aware of the possibility.
These are seconds, you know, the sock sale. Oh, okay.
I understand that, but he sells
Okay.
darn tough socks on seconds, I assume.
Yes, yes.
But I would think if I was in his position, I'd be all over darn right up front of the town, I don't care what they're selling.
So they do it, they can do it in Northwoods, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
it's,
it's the price of the better streets for it.
Yeah, so the bigger the better space.
They have no.
He's right down the bottom.
They can only put so many people through that manufacturing facility.
Right.
That's where they have it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say Lenny would be interested, but maybe not his sons. He has the second one. That'd be already that one.
So then on the following day, we had the Rock of Ages Employee Appreciation. That was 250 people. That worked out well. They think they might come back next year for that. The governor's inauguration, we're not doing that. That's, I don't know where they're gonna do it, but they are doing it here.
Why is that?
Like Wabi said, Phil doesn't like the restrooms. Chuck, Dick said, I can fix them. I said, "Well, you know what, let's wait till we get through all this other stuff. If we can fix them and get them in there, fine. This past Saturday night, we had this event called 12th Night. It was medieval people dressed in costumes, and they've been here. This is the second time. they've been here.
Jousting and whatnot.
They did do some whacking each other with, looked like maces, but they were like rubber balls and they were whacking the crap out of each other. They had like this 13 different thing meal. I don't know, Joel worked it.
Torture and whatnot.
I think there's still somebody in shackles down in the men's locker room, right? Not going in. So this is the second time they've been here, but it rotates around. It's New England wide, so we probably won't see it again for another 5 or 6 years.
How was the
How
attendance?
many people?
They had probably, Joel thinks it was about 300, between 300, 350 people.
Impressive.
Coming up, we got mixed martial arts on the 21st. We have a Red Cross blood drive in here on the 23rd. And then the gun show, February 4th and 5th.
You shut down the whole day before that and after that to clean up?
The gun show?
Clean up?
Gun shows, it takes a lot to clean up, but this mixed martial arts thing, it's, you know, he'll do the floor today. Got all the carpets picked up yesterday. The 12th night. Mixed martial arts, that's a 2-day pickup. Yeah. We had a full staff. I'm still short people, so. But we get it picked up, get it turned around. I know some people were at the door Sunday night thinking it was basketball. Rowdy called me, he said, there's a bunch of people out there. No, there's no basketball. So that's pretty much it.
So you had mentioned that the Barre Partnership had a good experience with the craft show. Should we invite them up here so that we can hear about their Oktoberfest plans and maybe some other things so that we start building some more business with them?
Sure.
should we be inviting her, or actually inviting Barre Partnership to come to every meeting just to have?
You know, we could, I know Nicholas has a partnership and BADC and monthly for the council. So I could ask them to come here. I haven't even met the new BADC director.
The partnership went more in the figure because she did the craft show.
She did the craft
show.
Yeah.
May one.
It's,
Yeah,
You should give her an open invitation.
She seems to have ideas or whatever.
Well, I thought Oktoberfest was one of the ideas that had been promoted a couple of times.
That got poo-pooed though, didn't that? I mean, they just, a lot of people didn't want it because of whatever.
it was mostly like the merchants didn't think it was, you know, because we had the Heritage Festival. Originally, the fall Oktoberfest thing started because we didn't have the Heritage Festival for a couple of years because of COVID. And then I guess people, the merchants said, well, if you're having the July event, I don't think makes sense to have an October event, but the more events you
I
have, the
know.
more people come to town.
I don't understand that much at all.
See, I'll ask Tracy to come to the February meeting.
That was supposed to happen this year, right? I mean, originally.
Yeah.
In the fall, right?
They had it, well, the Brew Fest thing got bounced around a couple of times.
Are there any more opportunities for the open gym or the other dates, basically?
We're back on
Yeah,
starting
we're
this.
we're on the Sunday night,
Yeah.
and then we're off, and then we're back on for 2. And
Yeah,
But is there any, and do you need, is there funding needed for that, or is it, everything's all set?
Mutla's covering the Sunday nights.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Bernie said send the bills to Denny, that's all.
Well, let's make it Bernie, because my son spends a many, Bernie's, they're running it. He's been
Yeah.
what-
Actually, Bernie,
he's been
thank you,
phenomenal.
Bernie, for, Stephanie runs during, so sometimes during school vacations, open gyms, and Bernie went down to baby 7. And tell him, how many kids you have?
Yeah, we had 70
Wow.
plus kids in the gym about every day. I think we raised, we didn't charge every kid that came in, because some kids don't have the money for it, but I think we put $300 plus back in, and we bought, so I understand there's 4 brand new.
We got
hoops.
4 new rims for the side baskets.
Yeah, which is really nice, yeah. But the Sunday night things are obviously going well up there outside, and like I said, the Mutua has for the last few years, at least the last 2 years, sponsored that Sunday night thing, and for Sunday nights, we get 50 plus kids in here Sunday nights, so, I mean, they're this tall and they're.
Yeah, my son loves it. I was one of those came up on a Sunday night thinking
Yeah.
there was open gym, there wasn't.
So Jeff, did Stephanie have any sticky puck over there during vacation? That's the stuff that, kids are looking for.
And that's what bothered me. And Bernie's over there sitting during and also gonna sit in their office looking at a computer. So I'm gonna I've got my Thursday meeting with Nicholas tomorrow. I'm gonna bring up.
Well, I mean, we start these things, and we got to follow through for, sticky puck seemed to be a pretty good thing.
It was a good thing, and it was the same thing. She didn't want to sit over there, so actually BYSA parents are babysitting now and collecting $5 a kid,
Yeah.
which then all went into recreation money.
BYSA, you sent out a thing or whatever about hockey. What used to be BYSA hockey, is it different now? or what?
Black Bears,
Yeah.
Black Bears hockey.
4 towns merged, there's no Barre hockey, there's
Yeah.
Northfield, Barre, Waterbury, and
Montpelier.
Montpelier merged to make one organization.
So there's no more BYSA hockey, there's just
Well,
BYSA.
it's still there. They don't call it that anymore.
Right, yeah, so it's a kind of, I don't know all the details, but they've merged in and they have teams now, like there's not, as far as I know, there's not just a Barre team. It's different levels of all those.
Right.
They
There's-
have all the kids.
They're tiers.
Right, there's tiers, so they have a top tier, the tier, and a lower tier, but it's combining all those 4 towns into one organization.
Who's the contact person there?
I don't know who it is.
Because maybe they want to change out their dash in the VOR.
No, because that's BYSA 8. That's BYSA as a whole.
So that's going to stay.
That's staying.
That oversees all the other sports.
The understanding when I went to the meeting, they proposed this was the pay-for-play hockey, right, these travel teams.
Yeah.
We're, the BYSA, we noticed the numbers, rentals dropping off, they would get the young kids going to state, which is school numbers, and then as they got older, they go parent pay money, so they thought merge, and the other thing is you have the same problem, merging, getting more kids, you can create your own different tiers, keep the kids local, and to compete with those, so you're not losing all the kids to these pay for play. Right? It used to be just be like 1 or 2 league teams, and everybody wanted it, those, it just kind of exploded and changed the whole model, right? Where like basketball AAU happens after the local seasons, hockey was not doing that, they were taking from, so the local teams come, just that model disappeared.
Which are based out of Arlington.
Yeah.
So that these playing each other locally?
No, they play different teams, like the top team will travel.
We don't put
about
out
far.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
We're trying. But
But it's similar to when USA had games that go through the state. and
So
still
they're
do
playing
that.
Rutland and St.
But they do play against each other too, because there's different teams. and
If they
different
have
leagues, So they play,
They got enough
you might have,
Yeah, like if they have enough for 2 teams at one level.
Yeah.
they can compete, they'll compete against each other, but a lot of them only have, enough kids to have one at this level and one at this level. So it was a bold move, but it had to be done.
individually, individually they weren't gonna survive on their own.
Well, individually, this group
Now
is
they're-
short here, this group is
Yeah.
short here,
Now
so
they're
now they've merged it.
So are we renting the same.
Same amount of ice, all three rinks, they're still,
That was one of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
big prime
yeah.
stuff, some of the preliminary stuff, but they were still trying to use each rink the same.
Mhm.
So. Northfield's-
You guys, North just rented anyway.
right now, it's just very much bigger water.
And if we didn't do this,
Oh, north.
Well, are they getting ice? Because when we first met with
No,
them,
Norwich doesn't want. to-
Norwich wasn't letting the
Well, my
youth. go in.
grandson's playing north.
they'll give, they may give them a little bit, they're not giving much.
They never know, yeah, month to month. they never do.
If we hadn't done this, I think we would have seen ice rentals.
Ice wrestle would have dropped.
Would drop,
I mean,
they
they invited-
dropped precipitously the last 5 years, so this has been sort of like, we'll see what happens long term, but short term. It's kind of steady rental instead of continued loss we had.
It was a bold move.
When we started playing hockey, it was in-house teams,
Right.
4 teams at every level, and they played each other right here in this building. At the end of the season, just like basketball, it could be all-star team, and they went out and played. And by the time we were been in it 2 years, everything went to hell.
Yeah, and it's, the whole hockey model is different than like.
That's
other
just
sports.
everybody thinks their kids are the next ball or.
They took away the whole, because they don't do it after the season, they took away the whole.
We have to speed it up because they're gonna let them back in.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to say, I was kind of interested in that sock sale idea. Are you aware they haven't had it for 3 years?
Yep.
Okay, so all the articles here that come up, like Vermont Digger, Burlington Free Press, 7 days, I mean, that's how broad the audience is. They basically say it's out of the abundance of caution. It was just too compacted,
Mhm.
too tight, and people were concerned about the health and welfare of the people involved.
Small area.
Yeah. So
There's
that's
a-
a November sale, it's during hunting season.
Mhm.
So I think we should.
Which we would compete with the basketball tournament, so they'd have to adjust the weekends.
Yeah, yeah.
They could do the
That's
first
right,
weekend of
that's a
hunting season, but not the
yeah.
second weekend.
But I mean, this is definitely.
But they might be able to do it all in one weekend here because they can push more people.
That's true.
Right, well, and they wouldn't be putting people, because of COVID concerns, into their manufacturing plant when they have workers. or whatever.
It's,
You know,
we got a time limit, so Jim drives, or it's cutting short, but we have 15 minutes, which hopefully is enough for you. But let's hear Jim's.
For the last couple of months, last month and continuing through here in January, I'm now in the process of chasing down a number of sponsors where their advertising agreement has expired. To date, for the first time in about 2.5 years, we actually have a vacancy for a banner over in the auditorium. In about another hour, I will find out whether or not we have a dasher vacancy in the BOR. But in the last week, we put in pretty close to $45,000 to $50,000 on renewals, so things continue to go strong there. Couple of things that we're.
Hey,
that
can
I'm-
you go out and grab the Swiss guy and have him deliver the stuff to the auditorium? Right, yeah, just hold out in front of the back of my office. Right, thanks.
That was his quiet voice.
You're done?
Yeah, we'll see how this guy and load him with shit here. It's supposed to be
A couple of things that I've been working on. One that might materialize next fall. As you know, for the last 3 years, we've hosted this, and with Bernie's help, the Granite Classic basketball event in November. And I've worked closely with the athletic director over at Johnson. And last November, he approached me and asked, would we be interested in hosting New England, that whole group of colleges, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, et cetera, a volleyball weekend in the auditorium. So we're pushing on that one. We've opened our arms to that, said, yes, we welcome that opportunity. That might come off in September or October. The one I'm going to be spending the most amount of time here, other than chasing down advertisements, is what I'm calling a winter solstice. I think I talked about that last month. This is a spin-off of what we've had a lot of success with the colleges coming in November. It would be a basketball event next, or this coming December, hence the winter solstice. and it's a spin-off on the Fran Peanut tournament of yesteryear. And there used to be a regulation presented by the Vermont Principals Association that no teams could come into the auditorium and practice. That's still there. They can't do it 10 days before the tournament, but with all that pushed to the side, I spoke with the assistant as well as the executive director of the EPA to ask them if they thought something like this would be a benefit to these young kids. And they're all over it. They supported 100%. So as soon as I can in the next week or two, I'm going to be contacting some area athletic directors to see if, for instance, Spalding High School might be interested in sending their men's and their women's basketball teams up here for a tournament. It's a little sticky because each high school team can only play 20 games a year. So if we do this tournament, that tournament has to be included in the 20 games. So the piece I'm a little bit nervous about, if Spalding men and women team up here to play in the event, they're going to lose 2 home gates, i.e. when men and women play down in their gymnasium. So maybe, I don't know how that's going to work out. I have approached 2 different coaches, one over at Hazen, one at Williamstown. They were very, very excited about that potential, really wanted to see if we could pull that together. So that looks pretty good. And keep on selling, like keep on trucking. Optimistic that we're okay. Still got 5 or 6 other people I have to contact and tell them, you're up, what do you think? Like I said, I had one group say no, and maybe another one will say no here at under half hour now when I meet with them.
Just, could you clarify, how many teams would you envision being involved in the tournament?
8,
8, okay.
I think.
Uh-huh.
It's still very much in the
Yeah.
4 men and 4 women.
Okay.
And I think, I'm hoping that maybe we would do it all on a Saturday. I've got the date reserved with Jeff and Stephanie. But we would do it on the 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, and start like we do with the collegiate gig
Uh-huh.
in November, start at noon time and play right until about 8 or 9 o'clock at night. But there are a lot of things to work out. I think I got a 50-50 shot on that one. But there's some, I've got to get 18 to say yes. And that's going to take some pretty strong quality.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
One quick question is, it's interesting you brought it up because with the recent Montpelier Spalding game, Montpelier was tactical, teams are good. People were asking, of course, why don't you have those games up the yacht? And I remember a couple of years ago, we had like Twin Field, Williamstown, and I thought the EPA put a kibosh on it.
No,
They did.
no,
But
they didn't put a cutoff. They can play the games here, but they have to count as a regular season games. And when we did that, we did 2 different weekends. Let's say Williamstown was the home team the first weekend,
Right.
men and women. And then the second weekend, we did it, Twin Field was the home team. With the Spalding thing, when they did the Fran Peanut tournament and the girls' holiday tournament, they kept the gate. They collected admissions, they kept the gate. And then we, the city, charged them only for the custodial service during those games, which is only like $200-300. And at the point when they stopped, they said it was because it cost too much to have it here. And, they'd rather have people in their own gym, so it went away.
yeah, that's what I'm a little bit worried about, trying to put this winter solstice together. But whether it's 8, 2, or 4,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, slowly immerse myself in the water. Maybe it's 4 this coming year, maybe it's nobody, but let's say it's 4, but I'm hoping maybe we get a shot at 8, 4 and 4.
We also tried to get them to play their games back when they had the team with Perez, Ball, Blue, and Forcier, the big team that won the state championship. We tried to get them to play some of their home games up here because people were getting turned away down at the high school.
Yeah.
And they said, no, we won't.
That's even after opening up the curtains too and putting
Yeah.
the bleachers on the other side.
Yeah.
Well, I anticipate the Montpelier Spalding game is going to be Spalding. It's probably going to be people will be turned away. And people, come to me, say, why did you have it? Well, it's
They
not
just-
us. It's
They
not
just
us.
played, they
to
just
have it
played
here.
it small.
They did? I
Yeah.
thought they went to, oh, they did?
That's the one Spalding.
Only one by 2 or 3.
It was packed, I can tell you that.
Would that be something that
consider not charging them for and using the board money, banner and board money or something to pay the city like expense?
How much is it an hour for basketball? 75?
Well,
70.
$70 an hour.
all I'm saying is it's exposure for the facility. Right? And just, I'm just asking the question. I don't know.
I don't mean to be on the line here, but I would hope not. I mean, there are a lot of other things that need to be done. That I do this because I'm hoping we're going to get some things done with maps and things like that.
And I'm not, I've been trying to spend this money for this.
Yeah, how much money do we have in the account, Jeff?
Oh, I didn't get a new report yet. I'll get one. Right now.
I don't know what, we got, whatever that figure is, and you say you got another 50 or whatever, so we got 150,000, I'm guessing, of whatever is sitting in this account or whatever. And I don't see a problem talking about purchasing mats or whatever or something. And if we had to pay the city, I don't know, figure $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever, guess again, to have this local high school participation part, for the exposure that we get, is it worth it now? Maybe that would be opening a can of worms and every other.
Taking 650 people and the money that raised Dennis Falls High School, what are you gonna do about that money?
I don't know. I mean, would
I'm
they
just saying,
yeah, would
it's a
they,
big gate down there.
They kept the gate last time I had it here.
But Bernie brings up, this is why I'm a little skeptical about Salsa's thing, because exactly for that reason. You're asking me, or I'm speaking now as the AD at Spalding or Hazen, Williamstown, you're asking me to give up 2 home dates, and I, depend upon that 500 a night to keep in my budget. And I don't know, I want to sit.
We can talk about this more at the next meeting.
Jeff and I got.
They're gathering at the door out there.
We're running out of time here. Before we go, you'll ask for Tracy next meeting.
Yep.
You should probably have the ball in athletic director or something too. Pass the ball. So, and then next time we're here, I think we'll focus on the funds that we were just talking about.
Is North Third right now open? I have a.
They're trying. Every time they start laying ice, it's going.
Motion to adjourn?
Yeah, adjourn, we're going to, a motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
Who seconded it?
Thanks, Barney.
Okay.
We got it. 1 minute short.